So in part one, I showed you how this game works. So right now, this is part two. We're gonna dive right into the code. So I explained earlier on that we are only gonna need just one library, which is the tkinter. So you're just gonna go to your terminal and say pip install tkinter, and after that, you should be able to import it into your code. So the first thing we're going to write is from tkinter import everything, right? So that's the first thing. So um, all right, so from here, I just put this on the side so we can see what we are trying to build. So the first thing, as you can see, we're gonna need a window. So let's create our window here. So let's just say window equals tk, right? So and then we have a title right there at the top. It says um, so let's do window.title and just say rock paper scissors. That's all. Okay, I just wrote my name here by Spay. Okay, and we see that we have a black background, so we're gonna say window dot config, and then we're gonna set the background to black, and then the size, I can't remember the size, it's been a while, so let's just say window.geometry. Hello. Okay, let's just say I don't know 600 by maybe 900. Okay, I don't know. We'll check. I'll check. Okay, and what else do we need? I think for now that's it. And then just we're gonna call the main loop function to just close. And then let's just run this to see what we have so far. Um, all right, it seems we have ourselves a window. Okay, it's a bit too long, so 900 was maybe. So let's do 800 and maybe 700 here. All right, so I think we're good on that. Now, the first thing we see is rock, paper, scissors. So that's gonna be a label. So let's just gonna click on title label, right? Let's just call it title label. Nope. All right, so title label equals to the label, and then I'm going to give it a text of rock paper scissors, not rock paper scissors. All right, and then I'm going to then give this title a yellow color, as you can see. So this is gonna be yellow. What else? I'm gonna need the label to have a black background, since the background is black here as well. So the background is gonna be black. But you notice, remember when I was changing the levels here, sometimes it changed the color to a different color here. So the background was a different color, right? So the best thing for me to do is just to have a background variable and call it and give it a color, any color, just let's say black for now, right? You know why? Because I want to change it in the future, right? So instead of this, I'm just gonna say bg equals bg. Oh, and this is where I should uh, uh, this is where I should declare it, because I also want to use it here before this. I want to use it on this. All right, so yes, what else? Oh, the fonts and the size. So let's just say fonts equals to I don't know, let's just say I'm gonna write this one, consoles, and then I'm going to, is it bold? I'm not sure. I don't think it's bold, but let's just say 18. Let's see bold. Or maybe let's just say B. Is it bold or B? I think it's just B. And then, yep, let's try and run this and, oh, okay, wait, I have to pack this label onto the window first. So label dot pack, and then, all right, this, let me just leave it like this. All right, okay, there we have it. Our window is written rock paper scissors as we'd like it to, but I think I should make this text a bit bold, so I'm gonna add this bold here. And what else do I need? I think that's it for now. Let's rerun. Okay, cool. And I think I'm still all right. The next thing we see are buttons, but let's start with all the labels for now. So the next label, I'm just gonna copy this. The next label is the level label, so we're gonna call this level label. So here all it's written is just level with the colon, and yeah, we are then going to lower the size, I think to 12 or something. Okay, the background, I mean the color here is white, the background is still black. And then the other one we need is this one for the score, so let's call it the score label. So score label, okay. Let's just write this default text for now and just say 30 seconds to score 10. But this is going to be an F string because these numbers 30 second and 5 are actually gonna be needed in the program. Remember, the first one was 5, I think the next one was 8 and 16 and so on, right? So this is gonna come from which level you are on. So, but for now we're gonna leave it there, and maybe this is gonna be, I don't know, let's make it 13, maybe let's make this 10. So, yep. All right, what else? Oh, the actual score now. This 0 out of 5, we're gonna need that as well. So wait, no, I was wrong to call this the score label. This should be the challenge label. Like, what's the challenge at the moment? The challenge is you need to do this, you need to score this in so many seconds, right? So we're gonna call it the challenge label. And then the next one, which is 0 out of 5 or whatever the score is, then that is going to be the score label, right? So okay, now okay, now this one is red, so let's make this red. This one is yellow again. So all right, so now let's just look at them and then try and place them accordingly. For now we're just writing everything that we need in terms of the labels. Then after that we are going to, all right, so we have everything. the rock paper scissors title, the level, the challenge, and then the score. For now, right? So let's just leave it at that. And so let me just try and make it to increase the sizes accordingly. So I see the sizes is very low here. So let's say, I don't know. So let me say 24 here. And here I'm going to do 14. Here I'm going to do, I don't know, 18. And score label probably 18 as well. Let's retry it. So remember, that's not really important, right? uh, you can obviously style it however you want to. So okay, now this looks a bit cooler, right? So now let me try and add the buttons, right? So the first buttons I need this red and green button to actually change the levels. So, and we are going to have those buttons right below our rock paper scissors title. So let's go to our code. Okay, right below this title here, I need two buttons. So I'm gonna call them level buttons, and then I'm gonna put them in an array because I have two of them. So the first one is going to be a minus, the second one is going to be a plus, to just show you that here you are actually increasing the buttons and here you are decreasing the buttons, right? Okay, so I'm gonna just keep it simple. I'm gonna use the grid formatting of the buttons, right? So to just make it simpler when we get to this as well, we are going to use the same thing we did here. So for the level buttons, let's just do this. For I'm gonna use R for row and range. What's our range? The range is gonna be whatever the length of these buttons are. So that's going to be our range. So since we have two, so that's going to be no, for the columns, I'm sorry, for the column. All right, so that's going to be for the column. But in terms of the row, we're just going to stick to one row here. So I'm just going to say here like this for one. And then for the columns, I'm gonna say for column in range, the length of the level buttons, which is 2, right? I can simply write 2, but this is cool to just write it like this because um, let's say we wanted to add more buttons, right? So now you have to come and change the numbers in the directly, which is not ideal, right? So now I want to say, okay, I want to print each button. So now I'm going to say level buttons. Um, okay, um, let me write this again. I'm going to explain what I'm doing in a second. I actually want to I actually want to have the actual buttons in a separate array, right? So I'm going to say level buttons equal to an empty array for now. Maybe let's just type in 0 times the length of this. Okay, so 0 times this. Right, so it's just gonna be 2, right? 2 zeros inside, but I want to write it like this so that you guys get used to uh, the good way of actually writing code. right? So now I'm going to store my buttons on this one here. So level buttons equal to button. So we're gonna create a button, and then the text inside that button is going to be it's just going to be this minus, and the next one is going to be plus. So instead of writing two buttons on my own, I then go to this and take whichever is the first one, or the corresponding one, whichever column I'm at. So if I'm on the first column, it's going to be on this. It's going to be the minus sign. If I'm on the second column, it's going to be the plus sign. So that's going to be my text. And then okay, now let's do this as well. Let's rewrite this. Instead of level buttons, I'm going to say level. Okay, now I have level colors. So the first one is red, the next one is green. Okay, so now I'm gonna take the colors just like I did with the text here. So let's take BG actually. BG equal the background of the button is gonna be whichever one that corresponds to the column, right? So, and what else do I need? Maybe FG is gonna be black for both, so FG is just black. Okay, and I'm then going to pick this button. So this button, so remember this is an array, so I'm going to say, all right, so I'm going to then pick this button here onto the window. Okay, what's the matter here? Got int. Oh, okay, I know why. Oh, I know why they're saying that, but it's fine. Let's just ignore that. It's a warning, not an error, so it's fine. So let's just do this and see whether we were able to actually create these two buttons. And if not, we may get an error and try and see where we went wrong. The name 0. Okay. Unknown color name 0. Oh, I just set level buttons here for the color. Sorry, I need to say level colors here. So I'm taking this from the level colors, not the level buttons. So that was the warning there. Now let's see. Okay, we have everything, right? So we have our buttons, we have, however, look here, the buttons are on one row. Okay, so why are we having buttons on different rows here? What happened? Okay, now let's go back to our code. Okay, we use this pick function here. Instead, we are going to need to use a grid function and then pass in the row and the column so it knows where to print uh, each button. So instead of pick, we're going to say grid, and then for row, we're just gonna give it the R, and then for column, we are going to give it C, right? So because those are the letters I use for rows and column. Now let's try it again and see whether it is okay. Wait, which is already. Oh yes, I'm gonna need to write this in a frame. All right, so it says here I cannot use the spec function here. Um, I cannot use this grid function if I'm running a geometry that's already ran by the peg function. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create a separate frame where I'm going to write this, put these buttons. So I'm gonna call this frame level frame, and then I'm just gonna say frame, and then this frame is going to be on the window, obviously, and then let's just say we're gonna pack this frame. So the frame is packed, so that's cool. So now instead of putting this on a window, I'm now putting this in a frame, right? Since the frame is packed, it's not using the grid function, so it's going to do away with this error here. So let's rerun the code, because now the grid is only working in the frame, not in the window itself, right? The window has the frame inside, and then the frame will now have the grid function. So as you can see, now the buttons are on one frame, on one row, sorry. What else? I'm gonna need maybe to increase the width a bit. Let's try maybe a width of I don't know. Let's do width equals to, I don't know, 2. Let's try 2, because that looks like it's equal to just one character, or even 3 is fine. Okay, no, this looks fine. Okay. What else? Now I need this button here, the computer button. So the computer button is just gonna be below the score label right here. So let's go below the score label. Let's create a button here and call it what? Let's just say computer button. And then we're going to create a button, obviously. And then the text is just gonna be computer for now. Just computer. And then we can see this is a green button, so BG is green here. What else? Then we are going to need to have uh, the size, which is the width and the height. So let's just declare these in a variable, because as you can see, this button is equal to these buttons as well. So let's just put it in a variable. So the width is gonna be, let's just say width and height. Height, let's say width is, I don't know, 4 is 4. Okay, I don't know, 4, and the height is maybe 6. Let's just say 4 4 for now, and then 4 4 for now. That sounds funny. And then we'll see uh, whether it's big enough, or it's been a while since I've done this. So let's see. Width equals to width and height equals to height. Height equals to height. Alright, and then we're just gonna pack this again. Let me give me some room. So let's pack this. We're still gonna add the padding and everything to make it evenly spaced. All right, so I have my button, so I can see this is so low. So instead of 4, I'm gonna try maybe 8, and but the height seems fine. But so let's try 8, or even 10. Let's do 10, and maybe 5 here. So let's just one more time. And then we're just gonna need to have this label here. Okay, yeah, that's fine. It's a bit, let me try 12 and 6. 12 and 6, I think 12 and 6 are okay. 12 and 6. All right. The next thing is we are going to need to do this, whatever we did here with these buttons, we are going to have to do it again. So remember, since this is on a grid, we need to first create a frame for it. So let's call this, what are we going to call this? Let's going to call it, I don't know, rock frame, I don't know, or RPS frame. Yeah, rock paper scissors frame. RPS frame. Snake style. uh, okay, RPS frame. It's just gonna be a new frame, and it's gonna be on the window. This allows you, by the way, this window, I'm passing in window because I can actually put a frame inside a frame as well, right? So right now, let's say I wanted to put this in the level frame. I was gonna type in that, but I only want it on a separate window here. So RPS frame, I'm going to then pack that onto the screen right here. And then inside this frame, I can then create these buttons here. So again, remember what we did first. We created level buttons, level colors, and level buttons here. So we are going to do this as well. So instead of level, now we are going to say RPS. So it's just basically a rinse and repeat. So RPS buttons, RPS colors, and RPS buttons here. Okay, so the RPS buttons here, I can actually say RPS button text, right? Because the first one is just going to be the text, and then the next one is going to be the actual button. So I see here I have capital letters, so I'm going to just say rock, paper, scissors in capital letters, and then scissors. Okay. Then the next one, I have some brownish color, white and blue. So the first one is gonna be say brown, and then the next one is gonna be white. The last one is blue. Okay. Um, so instead of level buttons here, we're gonna do the RPS buttons. All right. So now that we have that, the second thing I'm gonna need is the actual buttons now. So again, we go back to this code, we just copy this, and we come right down here and we say paste, and we just go through it together. Are we still gonna need only one row? Yes, that's right, these are only all on one row as well. Okay, so instead of level buttons, now we are doing RPS buttons. Okay, um, I'm not gonna use the level frame, but I'm going to use the RPS frame. So I'm gonna take the text from this RPS button. In fact, let me write the text so that you can understand that this is the text, right? Okay. All right. So here I'm going to take the text from here. The colors are going to come from the level colors as well. Yeah, so now the width is not going to be this, the width is going to be equal to width, and then the height is going to be height as well. Remember, we've already defined these variables. And the FG, yeah, FG is also black here, so I think that's it, is it? Okay, now I have to change this from level buttons to these RPS buttons here. So from level buttons to this. Okay, I think that's it. Now let's try and rerun this. Okay, cool. Now we have our button, computer button, and now we have our these buttons here. So now with two more things, this starts button as well as 1 2 3, these numbers here, because the 1 2 3, actually you can press these buttons by pressing on your numpad here on your keyboard, just the numbers 1 2 and 3. Whenever you want to press rock, you say 1, 2 for paper, 3 for scissors, right, to make it faster. To because with the mouse, to from here moving to here is a bit slow when you go to very high levels here, which change this button very fast. So yes, that's the second part here. So I'm gonna need to write this here. So now remember, we already have this frame here. What if I just write these numbers 1 2 3 on the exact frame, right? But I'm just on the first row, I'm going to write the numbers. Then on the second row, I'm going to write on the second row, I'm going to then add the buttons here, because the numbers are right inside, right above these levels, the buttons there. So let's try and do that. So let's see how we can go about doing that. So right here, I need to add the numbers. So firstly, let's add the numbers. Let's just say numbers equal to, again, we're gonna use the text 1, 2, and then 3. Okay, so we're gonna take the text from these numbers. Now what I want to do is this. Okay, oh, 1 second. Okay, so I now need to write the numbers 1 2 and 3. I'm gonna use the same function here, because it's really doing exactly what I needed to do. So instead, I'm going to call these what? Let's say numbers, um, numbers labels. Yeah, let's just say numbers labels. Numbers underscore labels equal to an empty array, maybe just 0, times the length of the numbers array, right? So that's the numbers. So now in the first element, I'm going to include a label here. So in this label, I'm just going to give it a text. Where I'm going to get the text from, it's right here from the numbers. And then whichever, just like we're doing with the button, whichever um, column it is, uh, the text is going to be corresponding to that. So now BG is what? BG is equal to BG. Remember, our BG is black, so let's just keep it as black for now. um and then what else? Oh, FG is red in this case. One second. FG is red here. Right, here's FG, it is red, as you can see. I'm not sure about the size of the font, but I think this is good enough. We'll see. Let's just then pick this. Oh, we are going to use the grid function again. Grid row equals to row equals to R, sorry, and then column equals to C. Oh, all right, and then I think that's it, guys. I'm not sure if I'm missing out anything. Let's just run this and see. I'll tell you if, oh yes. Okay, but wait, I can actually do this. I can actually do this. I need to put this in this frame here as well. And then now look, the buttons need to be on the second row. So in fact, just for it to be visibly clear, even though I could have written it down there, this is what I want to start, right? The numbers, I want the numbers first and then the buttons, right? But that's not going to be enough. Just rearranging the code won't be enough. So here is the frame, right? The frame is all the way up there, right? So on the first row I have numbers, then on the second row I have the the, the the buttons, right? So here it's going to be row, but here it's going to be row plus one, right? So that they don't fall on the same line here. So let's try that again. All right, cool stuff. Now we can see. So as you can see, there's my frame all the way up to there, right? It's just that we have buttons here, but that's why you cannot see it, but it goes all the way up there. So on the first row I have numbers, and then on the second row I have these buttons here. So now I want to also make the background of the frame to be black as well, right? So let's go to the frames, RPS frame. Where is the frame? Where is the frame? RPS frame. And then let's just say BG equals BG. Right. And then let's retry. All right. We are almost there. What is the one thing we need? Okay, right now we only need this start button here. So we're just gonna copy this computer button and just change it a bit, right? As you can see, most of it is just rinse and repeat. So let's go to the computer button. Where is the computer button? There we go. Let me have space here. Computer button. So right beneath our actual buttons, we are going to have this button, and we're gonna call it start button. So this start button is what we are going to write here, and then it's also green, but the actual color here is white, not black, the text color. And then the width, I'm not sure, I don't remember setting these. Let's just leave it like this and see what we get. All right, we have everything that we need now. So again, I'm just gonna try and just rearrange this, just the colors and everything, right? I see here my text is a bit bold, and here, yeah, I also see my buttons are a bit narrower here. I'm gonna make them a bit wider, including this one. Yeah, so that's all. Those are the changes I'm gonna make. Oh, and then I'm gonna put some spacing, some padding in between, because look, we have our window all the way down here, but we have everything clustered together here. We just give it everything some breathing space, some padding. We are going to add that in the pack function, right? So let's go. Let's see what we're gonna start with. So the first thing here to note is everything from the rock paper scissors. There's just no breathing space, so let's go to the top. I'm gonna close this. So rock paper scissors, let me add some pad Y here. Pad Y of, let's say, 20. And then just in between the frame of the level buttons and this, with there's some space there as well. So let me add a pad of 20 there as well. So where's the level frame? There's the level frame. And also between, there's some, even though it's not that much here between the actual level label, maybe let's add maybe 10 there. And then between the level button and the score button, there's some padding as well. I mean the challenge, so let's add another padding of 20. Between the challenge and the score, another one, let's add 20. Between the score and the button, computer button, let's add 20. Between the computer button and the frame, let's add 20. And then between the frame and the start button, let's add 20 again. Yeah, let's see how we're doing right now. Oh, also let me try and change the height and width of the buttons. So we said, oh, the first thing I'm realizing, I need to make this font of the buttons as well. Okay, let's just say button fonts here. Button font equals to, so I'm going to write this like this. So the font is going to be, now let's leave it as this one, but I'm going to say 14, and then I'm going to make it bold as well. All right, so I'm not sure if 14 is too big, but we'll see. So the font equals to button fonts here. So I'm just gonna add this on these buttons as well. Text and the fonts equals to button fonts. Okay, I think okay, let's review how everything is doing right now. Okay, perhaps 20 was a bit too much. Yes, I think 20 was a bit too much. So let's do 15. In fact, let me do just say pad Y. Let me just include a pad Y equals to 20. Let me say pad Y equals to 20. All right, so pad Y equals to, so instead of 20, we said we're going to bring it down to 15. So pad Y equals to pad Y there. So instead of 20, I think I only have 21. So let me just do this shortcut here. Wherever I see 20, I'm going to say pad Y. Now let's try that. And then let's rerun. Pad Y is not defined. Where is that? Oh, oh, okay. So let's define it right here. Pad Y equals to 15, and then do that. All right, that's cool. Now we should get a decent looking. Nope. Seems like 15. Okay, no, 15 is fine. What I'm noticing, it's the height of my button that it's a bit too much. So let's go to my buttons 12 and 6. Which one is the length there? Length times breadth, width times height. So let's do, my width is fine, but how come it's 6 so so big. I mean so tall. Okay, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, no, 4 is fine. Okay, now as you can see, oh, also this the fonts here also I need let me just say fonts is button fonts for the numbers as well. Wait, and the numbers. Okay, fonts equals to button fonts. All right, I think that's it, guys. That's it. We have our GUI for our rock paper scissors project. We have our GUI, we have our rock paper scissors. Everything is on point here. Now we have to define everything, all these scores, what this function, the computer button does. Uh, we need to be able to press these buttons and tell them to do something. So yes, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. So this is just part 2. We are just done with this the rock paper scissors the GUI or the interface. Now we're gonna get into the actual code to get this to work. So yes, that's it. Take care from me, guys. See you in part 3.